Teacher, today go to read chapter 3, the effect of a warmer coat.
Of a warmer world.
Heat wave, drought, flood and storms. Heat wave, drought, flood and storm are all extreme weather. A heat wave is very hot weather for many days, and a drought is very little rain for a long time. Extreme weather can cause huge damage to buildings and roads, and to people and animals. The damage caused by extreme weather can cost billions of pounds, and many people can lose their life. In 2016, there was an extreme heat wave in India. The country had its highest ever temperature at 51 degrees Celsius, and many people died. In Europe in 2003, there was a summer heat wave that killed tens of thousands of people. Most of these people were old, because very hot weather can cause more problems for older people. In Australia, there have been many large fires over the last few years. In the Australian summer, the land and the plant growing on the land can get very dry. It is then easy for a fire to start and to become very large very quickly. These fires badly damage people's homes and other buildings, and many people lose their life in the fire. Since the year 2000, parts of the UK have had floods again and again, and these floods have caused huge amounts of damage. In 2010, there were extreme floods in Pakistan. These floods had a terrible effect on 20 million people in the country. Many people lost their lives, and even more people lost their homes. It takes a huge amount of time and money to help people after damaging weather like this. All over the world, we are seeing patterns of extreme weather. Many places are having their highest ever temperature, and other places are having more rain than ever before. The effects of this extreme weather are very dangerous for all the living things in our world. The number of heat waves, drought, floods, and storms we are seeing is increasing in many places. Extreme weather is now becoming normal for many people. There has always been extreme weather, but studies show that climate change has increases the risk of extreme weather. A warmer cold increases the risk of Europe having a big heat wave. For example, studies on the flood in the UK show that the risk of extremely heavy rain is greater because of climate change, and this has made the risk of floods in this part of the world higher. One reason for this is because a warmer atmosphere can hold more water, so the rain is heavier and the risk of flood is greater. The effects on people and where they live. Climate change can also have an effect on our food and water and on our health. All over the world, we grow food on farms. Much of the food we buy at supermarket stores its life in a field on a farm. But the food we grow needs the weather to be just right, not too hot, not too cold, not too wet, and not too dry. Drought and floods have a very damaging effect on how much food we can grow. When fields become too wet or too dry, plants cannot grow. Cities increase the price of food, and then poor people cannot buy it. These people then have to go hurry. Some plants may grow better in a different climate. But scientists think that the effect of climate change will make it much harder to grow enough food for everyone. Drought cause plants to die. Climate change may also have an effect on the amount of water that we have, and many places may not have the water they need. Across South Asia and China, water for drinking and farming comes from large rivers. The water in this river comes from rain and snow, and from ice melting high up in the Himalayan mountains. Climate change can have an effect on all of these things. This means lower amounts of water in the rivers and lower amounts of water for people to drink and use. Climate change and extreme weather can also have a damaging effect on our health. More people could catch some disease in a warmer cold. Dirtier air can also damage the health of all living things. The many effects of climate change can make people feel worried about their life and their family. When people do not have the food and water they need, it can cause problems between the groups of people and communities. Sometimes people move from their home to try to find a better place to live or to find enough food and water. The effect on animals. Climate change is causing problems for many of the animals that live on Earth. Change in temperature, the season, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And the amount of food and water animals can find all make life much more difficult for animals in different parts of the world. When changes to climate are slow, animals can find ways to live with the changes. But when changes to climate happen very quickly, it is much more difficult for animals to do this. The climate change we are seeing right now is happening very quickly, and it is damaging for many of the living things on Earth. At the same time, animals are losing their habitats, the place they live. People cut down trees to build towns and cities and to grow food in fields. All of these things take habitat away from animals. Together, climate change and losing habitat make life very difficult for the animals of this world. We may see some animals become extinct in the future because of climate change. Many animals already have problems, and there are very low numbers of some animals in today's world. More climate change may mean that these animals become extinct, and we never see them again. Many people already know about the polar bear and the problem it now has its habitat, the Arctic. As the Arctic ice is melting, this makes catching seals to eat very difficult for polar bears because they walk on the ice to do this. Polar bears are not the only animals at risk from the warming of the Earth. All over the world, there are other animals that could become extinct because of climate change. Many others will find life much more difficult. Many of Australia's animals have lost their habitat because of climate change. These animals include the yellow-footed rock wallaby, the golden shouldered parrot, and longhorn tree kangaroo. Many of our medicine and all the plant and animal we use for food come from the natural world. In the future, we may not have the large number of different animals and plants that we see on Earth today. This will make the world a poorer and sadder place for the people living on Earth in the future. Blue horse, tree kangaroo, golden shouldered parrot, the yellow-footed rock wallaby. The effect on company and community. Some company and community are already seeing the bad effect of climate change and extreme weather. People buy insurance to protect their home if something bad happens. But it's going to become more difficult for these companies to get insurance against floods, for example. And this is it. Thank you for listening.